We are back. Check everywhere. Trust no one. I've been watching the views on this playthrough plummet. It's funny because it was a Patreon vote, and usually Patreon's like the silver bullet to having a series do well. Is like, all right, which one of these will you guys actually watch? But I think in this case, this game just has a reputation. And so a bunch of people, I think, voted for this game as a combination of like, oh, I loved that game when I was a kid, or, Planescape Torment, that's that game people always say is amazing, like New Vegas and Vampire. And then I start actually playing it, and they're like, I'm not watching that. It's like the boring reality of CRPGs for most people actually sets in. Kind of like the way that you like have an aspirational like watch list on Netflix of all these documentaries and things you totally want to like look into someday, but you never actually click play on them. You just keep adding them to your watch list. Like the stark difference between this game winning the poll out of like a dozen games versus the viewership immediately being the least popular thing on the channel at the time. I'm like, welp. Oh well. Kimash Shattertongue. That's quite the name. The wild-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry scowl. Her tattooed body is practically naked, covered by only a narrow leather thong. A black cloth brassiere and armored shoulder pads that appear to serve more as decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiked hair, as well as the thin fur that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white. Brassy white. When someone says brass, I don't think of white? And numerous silver rings dangle from her ears, nostrils, lips, and brow. She wears a leather collar around her throat with the inscription, Kimash Shattertongue. Greetings. Kimash bares her teeth at you. And just what are you looking at, you banged up sod? I had some questions. The tiefling rolls her eyes. What makes you think I care? Why don't you lick my backside? My tongue's not wide enough, and I don't like hair in my mouth. Well, you seem like the taste of offal in your mouth, you dung-breathed cretin. Only because it's like kissing you, you mangy stinkpot. Kiss me? She makes a retching sound. I'd rather kiss a bloody mass of phlegm that lay on lips of than lay my lips on you. No thanks. Don't thank me. Thank the powers someone actually wants to kiss you. Kim actually looks at a loss for something to say. For an instant, a smile threatens to crack the grimacing mask of her face. Then she becomes more of a basilisk than ever. All right, what do you want of me? Questions answered. She looks annoyed. Fine, whatever, ask. A little insult showdown. She was amused. She almost like let it slip that she was amused by what happened. Who are you? My name? Uninterested. I can guess yours, though. Scarbunch, get out of here before I put a fire under your ass. I have another question. What are you doing here? Not you, that's for certain. She smirks at you. I'm contemplating the best way to tell you to pike off next. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? What, that echo cheat? Don't know anything about her. Don't talk to the girl, I mean, why? Not like she can talk back. Ask Frigid Dolora about her. I think I saw her playing Go with an old crush of Echo's, back when she could talk. They have Go in this universe? People play Go in D&D? Next you're gonna be like, they're big fans of Bejeweled around here. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be? Try a hive gutter, or perhaps that's just a similar aroma. To be serious, though, Marissa stole it. Marissa, are you sure? No, but I'm hoping you'll go stomping into her room and upset her enough to do something awful to you. Well, I'm trying to find Marissa's crimson veil. Do you know where it might be? She smirks. Up your ass, maybe? Hells, I don't know. Kimash smooths back her hair, which instantly springs back up into a spiky mess. She's a joy to talk to and happy to see me. Hanky. Does this game even have a stealing mechanic? People even care when I get into their stuff? Her smoothing back dismissal. Her smoothing of her hair in her dismissal has me thinking that maybe she's full of shit. But maybe not. Or at least it's not in her room, seemingly.
I'm gone.
Let's see, let's go to Delora. Delora's eyes flash as she sees you. Did you find him? Has he agreed to return the eyes to my heart? Okay, so I can't talk about that yet. Kisai Sari. Have I met her before? Is she the first person I talked to? This alarmingly voluptuous woman has a thick mane of wavy, raven-colored hair, bluish skin, and shimmering crimson eyes, like rubies that have fires lit beneath them. Though she is not beautiful in the typical sense of the word, her features are exotic and not altogether unattractive. Greetings. The woman's voice is deep and sensuous. And my greetings to you, sir. Her burning eyes roam over you. I'm Kisai Sari. So, tell me, what might I do for you, Well, what do you usually do for patrons? Talk, of course. You say that, but after like the first person, the premise of this brothel seemed to stop happening. Well, there's the insult match, and then the too nice girl. Those kind of had versions of learning about talking. Usually about dreams. Often those erotic in nature, but not always. Kisai winks at you, smiling. So, would you like to tell me yours? Don't be shy, I've heard everything you know. Nothing will shock or surprise me, and I so love to hear people's dreams. We can trade if you'd like to, but you must go first. I don't have dreams, actually. Kisai arches her eyebrows in surprise. Truly? How sad. Even fiends and divas dream. Devas? You know. Are you certain you don't? Quite certain. No dreams at all. Too peculiar. I'm at a loss as to what to say. Well, I did have some questions. Kisai blinks her crimson eyes at you, awaiting your question. If you don't mind my asking, what are you? Kisai shakes her head. What, can't you tell? She draws herself up, thrusting her ample bosom towards you. A woman? She raises an eyebrow. I can see my answer doesn't please you. I am plain touched, actually, like your friend here. Kisai indicates Anath. That's all you need to know. What are you doing here? Entertaining your questions, it seems. She winks at you. Really, though, I'm a student of Mistress Grace's. All the prostitutes in the brothel are. A student. That's right. The brothel's actually a school for women who are thinking of becoming sensates. Mistress Grace teaches us the ways of language that we can better identify with ourselves and those around us. It lets us experience the planes more fully, you know. Tell me about the sensates. The Society of Sensation believes that the multiverse can only be understood by experiencing it, and the more you experience, the closer you are to understanding the dark of the multiverse. Intriguing, huh? I think I was born to be one. I just want to know things. Can you tell me about this place? Certainly. The Brothel of Slating Intellectual Lust is actually a school for women who are thinking of becoming sensates. Mistress Grace teaches us the ways of language that we may better identify with ourselves and those around us. Let's experience the planes more fully, you know? Let's see. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? Yes, that's Echo. She's very sweet, but so quiet. I understand that she said something once, which caused some great tragedy, and because of that she'll never speak again. Kisai shrugs, smiling. An interesting enough story, but I don't know if it's true. Try asking Delora. I've seen her talking to an ex-lover of Echo, back from a time when Echo was speaking. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be? No, I don't. Kisai frowns. Most of the women will say she's prissy, but she's always been nice enough to me, complimenting me on my eyes, and she smells so good. I hope she finds her own scent again soon. Try asking Nanny about it. She's everywhere at once. It might have seen something. You do have very lovely eyes, you know. Tch, Anna sneers. Idiot. Anna, please, it's only a compliment. Anna stares at you coldly, but says nothing. Kisai Sari shrugs and looks back at you. Why, thank you. You can see them glowing in the dark, you know. Bizarre, no? She pauses to look at you. You've some nice eyes too. So dark and mysterious, so full of character. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be?
My journal.
No, I haven't seen it since last time she wore it out. But Nanny might have seen something, so try asking her. I'll admit it's been nice. Marissa won't leave her chamber without the veil, so we've all been spared her foul tongue, leaving us only Kimash to deal with. Kisai smirks. That Kimashi's the worst of the two, though. How so? Marissa's haughty and mean, but Kimash, she's a bitter, spiteful monster of a woman with a venomous tongue and a demeanor of Ballard. I can't see why anyone would like to speak with her. I sincerely doubt her appearance makes up for that flaying, poisonous mouth of hers, but she receives patrons nonetheless. Never mind, actually. Farewell. We're getting pointed back to Nena. Take a look-see. This door is closed. Juliet's room.
Ready. Right.
All right.
Characters definitely seem to come and go.
I'm here. Why not?
Makes me worried about being able to be completionist about finding everybody, which I need to do for the quest.
Done.
Just because it might be hard to keep track of them if they just come and go like this. Vivian. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be? Were I to know its location, I'd set it alight and cast its remains in the deepest of pits. May the wretching thing never find her precious veil, and be confined to that chamber for the rest of her days. Vivian harumphs. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? You mean Echo? She's a dear. Quiet. Vivian frowns. That may be part of the charm. There is all manner of speculation as to why she is silent, but I think 'twas that her heart was most horribly broken. Delora might know best. She has been known to speak to a man Echo once loved before she lost her voice. Yeah, but I can't talk to Dolores. Until I finish getting her keys. Made to commit to stealing after all. Eaves the Tail Chaser. Tail, T-A-L-E, not the other way around. This fetching young woman has a faraway look in her soft sea green eyes. Greetings. Greetings. I am Eaves the Tail Chaser. Have you come to trade tales? I'd like to trade tales. I would like that very much, yes. It's a lot of stories. Tell her about the Alley of Lingering Sighs. Eaves leans forward to tell you the tale of... Eaves leans forward as you tell the tale of the alley giving birth. She seems to devour every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you. Before I begin, I must ask, do you know what a modron is? No. Modrons are a creature of total law, almost more machinery than living things. That's those things from up there, right? Are they not just machinery? There are many different sorts of modron, but all have their place in a very rigid, carefully organized hierarchy. So dedicated are they to this system that they cannot communicate with or even consider the existence of modrons who are not their immediate superiors or inferiors. I understand now. Then I shall tell you the tale of the clock and the quadrone. Go on. Once upon a time, there existed a modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it had come to Sigil following the commands of its modron superiors. Go on. It knew of nothing but commands and dictates, of obedience and passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, modrons are only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors. They have no grasp of higher authority, until this one. One day it came upon a small shop, within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The modron immediately set itself to work on getting the parts to fix the broken clock. It made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced the bent springs, carefully filed and oiled the clockwork machinery, and carved new hands from its sparse metal available to it. This is going to be the ship of Theseus, I think. The newly repaired clock's precise ticking reminded it of the great gears of Mechanus, and it comforted it and it comforted as much as anything may comfort a modron. And what the modron never came to understand was that it truly loved this clock that it had worked on, and for reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in Sigil and be with the clock for the rest of its years. That was not how I thought that was going to end. Requin's Curse. Eaves leans forward to tell the tale of Requin's odiferous curse. Devour your every word. I'll teach you the gilded tale. Upon the plain of Isgard is the gilded hall, where those sensates that seek the pleasure of gullet and loin can be found. They indulge in the gullet and loin. They indulge in the passions in earnest, never realizing that the doors of the hall never open, and that there is no clear path back to the civic fest hall. They are the unwanted sensates, the ones that do not truly believe in the faction, but instead seek only pleasure for pleasure's sake. Are prisoners who do not realize they are such truly prisoners? They've got like an orgy room. They just throw all the horny people into the horny room. Teach him of Ignis. Ignis and the art that burns him from within. She's telling me the execution. Once, a murderer roamed Sigil's streets, a black-hearted man by the name of Cossacks. He had been blessed by his abyssal mother so that no one could strike him with an intent to harm, or they themselves would die. He reveled in his blessing, using it to start fights and murder anyone who crossed his path. Sounds like Baldur. And then a Loki's gonna trick somebody into... Because Loki tricked a blind man into killing Baldur on accident. During one of his murderous rages, he was captured by the Harmonium with nets and brought before the governors. The trial was short, final, yet Cossacks laughed at the proceedings, knowing that no one among them could harm him without dying horribly. At the final day of his trial, he was proclaimed guilty and sentenced to death. Cossacks' sentence proclaimed by the governors was this: confinement for thrice 30 days, during which time you shall give up your life, be declared dead, and your body removed from when all signs of life cease. Cossacks laughed and dared any of them to try and harm him, yet the court was silent. The mercy killers led Cossacks to their prison and locked him in a dark, empty cell. There was no cot, no lights, and the only door was a steel grate on the ceiling. As they lowered him into the cell, the mercy killer told him, in the corner of your cell you shall find a chalice. It holds poison. Your death will be swift. Aren't you going to execute me? Cossack snarls at the guard. No one in Sigil shall lay a hand on you with the intent to harm. Came the mercy killer's reply. Then I spit on your cowardice. Cossacks laughed, feeling for the chalice in the darkness, then hurled it at the wall and shattering it. Its poison dripped from the walls and dried, until it was no more. Come then, you'll have to try and kill me now. But there was no response from the grate in the ceiling. It was then that Cossacks noticed the cell had no cot, no lights, and no food and water. All that remained was the shattered chalice, the poison gone. And for the first time, Cossacks knew the icy touch of death's approach. In twice 30 days, the grate opened, and Cossack's body, now cold, was taken from the cell. It had given up its life, and the execution had been carried out. That's one way to do it. Well, if you really want to be a monkey paw smartass, you could be like, whoever sentenced him dies, or whoever puts him in the cell dies. It's just some steps removed. Why are you called the Tail Chaser? Once upon a time, a girl came to an oracle who was rumored to know many things and asked of it a boon. Her life was in need of direction, so she asked this oracle as to what would give her purpose. Now, the oracle was not evil, but it was vague and tended towards drink, which caused it to be obscure in many matters of judgment and focus. The oracle isn't it. Its only answer to the girl's question was that within one story that she would hear in her lifetime was the truth that she had sought. The girl went off and collected stories, which she chases to this day, not knowing which of the thousands holds the truth. Such is the danger of foolish question and the wisdom of an unspoken one. So one of these answers is supposed to give her purpose in life, but she doesn't even necessarily know which one it would be. Or if she even already heard it, potentially. What are you doing here? I collect tales and trade them with others who've tales of their own. Can you tell me about this place? This is part of Mistress Grace's story, which is not mine to tell. She has said that when she nears the end of her years, she shall tell me, and only if I pledge to never share it with another. She hopes that she will never need to tell me her tale, for she hopes that I will find my own story before that time and leave this place. I think she fears my life will be squandered in searching for this tale, and not acting upon what I already know. Eaves sighs softly, but it cannot be helped. Your own story? Yep, we know this. What can you tell me of the silent prostitute? Echo? Eaves frowns, thinking, I once heard a tale of a girl who knew the word that, if spoken, would undo the multiverse. Perhaps this is Echo. Ask Delora, though. I understand that she sometimes meets with one who knew Echo before she stopped speaking. I need to find Vivian's scent. Eve shakes her head. Speak with Nanny. She's forever pacing about, observing everything intently. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be? She shakes her head. But Marissa has an interesting tale. Would you like to hear it? Yes, go ahead. Once upon a time, in a world of heroes and a time of petty, childish gods, there were 3 sisters, cursed with a hideous appearance. They were considered demons by the people of the land and forever shunned. One missed her sisters terribly, yet left the world with its shame behind, but exchanged the pettiness of a pantheon for the pettiness of self. 3 sisters cursed with the hideous appearance of demons. She left behind the world her sisters are in. I've spoken to 9 prostitutes altogether. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? Eve shakes her head. Speak with Nanny. She's forever pacing about, observing everything intently. Ironically, that's who I was looking for a minute ago, but she seems to have wandered off. Oh, there she is.
Well met, good sir. I'm Nanny, and how are you this fine Oh! We've met before.
Nanny giggles and smiles gleefully at you.
I'm sorry, I knew you looked familiar, though.
That's all right, Nanny. I had some questions. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute?
Oh, Echo! She's a mysterious one, isn't she? Do you know that she never speaks? Truly.
Nanny leans in and lowers her voice.
I think she was emotionally wounded so badly that she may never speak again. I bet Delora knows because she sometimes talks to the last lover Echo had when she still spoke.
I need some water. Give me a minute. Ah. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be?
Updated my journal.
I'll bet I do. I saw that nasty Kimash Adderton sneaking out of Marissa's room one night. They're both meanies, you know, but Kimashi's really awful. Anyway, I talked to her first.
So it is her. I can't ask Nanny about the 10th person, though. Yeah, they said I can go talk to her about the 10th person, but I actually can't.
All right.
Wonder why.
I'm gone.
It was you. You've been told on. I've spoken to 9 prostitutes altogether. Do you know who or what or where the 10th student is? Yes, she's hiding under my bed. Go ahead. Get down on all fours and check. I shan't kick you. Really. Get on your hands and knees and check. As you look beneath Kimakshi's bed, nothing's there, of course. You become aware of her standing behind you. I couldn't. It's just too easy. Get up, you poor, stupid debtor. There is no 10th student. There is no 10th student. I was told you were seen sneaking away from Marissa's chambers recently. Is that connected with her missing veil somehow? Kimash flies into a rage. Who told you that? She suddenly falls silent, glaring at you through narrowed eyes. If I was there, Burke, I didn't take her filthy veil. Search my room if you'd like. I'd catch you sniffing at my breeches, though. I'll see you're never allowed in here again. Why would anyone ever sniff at your breeches?
My journal.
Beats me. Someone's nicked more than a few pair of them, though. My favorite leather brassiere, too. And with the iron studs. She humps angrily. You're a third person that was stolen from. It's not an objective necessarily. Our own room has been burgled. And I want to talk to this furniture again. Suspicious furniture. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? Yes, Echo. She can't have always been mute, you know, otherwise I'm most certain she would have learned some other means of communicating in the meantime. It must be a recent occurrence. Trying to find Marissa's crimson veil, do you know where it might be? I heard she used to walk around in a crimson veil, but that she'd recently taken to her room and darkened it. I did not know what had occurred, so this veil of hers is missing then. I've spoken to 9 prostitutes altogether. Do you know where the 10th student is? There is no 10th student. What is this rubbish you speak of? No one will talk of the 10th student. So either there is no 10th student or it's a crazy secret.
All right.
Endure. In enduring, grow strong.
But someone's probably down here.
Right.
Or something. What's that? This clear stone, held in a mesh of engraved silver bands, pulses with a brilliant inner light. Inscribed into its base is the word Eaves. Oh? Is it all their names? The man, looking slightly puzzled, nods at you as you approach. Greetings, sir. Might I ask how you came to be here? I just came down those stairs, through that strange door I found. I'd best work on concealing it a bit better, then. He shrugs and smiles at you. I'm the brothel's caretaker, by the way. You're not supposed to be down here, really, but it's all right if you look about for a bit. I had some questions. He smiles nervously. I really shouldn't even allow you down here, let alone be chatting with you. Please, no questions for now. Tell me about this place, at least. It's where the ladies' sensory stones are kept. They use them as diaries of a sort. You won't be able to use them, if that's what you're thinking. Each of them is attuned to one particular student of the brothel, so that only she may access that stone.
Updated my journal.
That's all I wish to know. Farewell. That statue's a naked woman. Kimash at her tongue. They match the locations of the rooms people are in? Delora. Yeah, the question is whether or not one of them is a name we don't know. Kisai Seri. So many pillows. Marissa. Vivian. Echo. I don't think they match their room locations. Nanny. Juliet. They might match the order of the rooms, but they're not directly below the rooms. Unless this room's rotated. This grayish-white stone, held in a mesh of engraved silver bands, pulses with light. Something was once inscribed into its base, but the writing has been scoured away.
Updated my journal.
That's the mysterious 10th one. That's probably our answer, then.
I'm gone.
Maybe it's time to go back, then. I may have completed the objective.
How may I help you?
Fall from Grace turns to you as you approach and smiles slightly. Do you know about the Blood War? The Blood War is the conflict that rages across the lower planes between the Batezu and Tanari. They fight over whether evil should be lawful or chaotic. Fall from Grace pauses. It is a war best avoided at all costs. Let the Tanari and Batezu butt heads and leave the rest of the planes in peace. Or at least in relative peace. Relative peace? Well, the war is so large that most races get caught up in it against their wishes. Ignoring it often proves just as dangerous as participating in it. So much for that previous advice from 1 second ago. Do they use human troops? On occasion, yes. There are a number of human mercenaries that participate in the Blood War. They serve either as soldiers, fodder for cannons, or food for the fiends. Oh. Wow, rewarding. How long has it been going on? According to the chronicles, the Blood War has been fought ever since the Batezu met the Tanari. A very long time ago. I'm not certain there is a human term that encompasses the time between then and now. Fall Grace shakes her head. I'm afraid that neither the Batezu nor the Tanari have ever really taken to the other. Did you serve in it? No. My mother did. Succubi generally tempt mortals to bring their spirits to the abyss to create more Tanari to die in the Blood War. Your mother, she served in the Blood War. Yes, she was among the finest, seducing countless mortal men. She now dwells in the abyss, selling her children into slavery. You were sold into slavery by your mother. For a time, I won my freedom in a contest of improvisation. Wow, brain. It was a very long time ago. Who did she sell you to?
Updated my journal.
She sold me to the Batezu. I think she'd rather expected they would kill me. Despite her knowledge of other subjects, she knows little of their culture. She sold you to the Tanari's sworn enemies. Yes. Fall from Grace draws herself up. Was there anything else you wish to know? Are these questions bothering you? Oh, no. Not at all. It's best you know this. The Blood War underlies most events of the Plains. It's important to understand what it is and why it is taking place. I spoke to 9 of the students as you asked, but I could not find the 10th. And you could not find the 10th student? How curious. I'm thinking the 10th student is me, in which case I have spoken to all of them. Very well, and your thoughts? You should get rid of all the armoires in the brothel and use them as firewood. Ah, Fall from Grace laughs softly and her eyes sparkle. A practical thought indeed. Very well, I will travel with you. If you still desire my company. I do.
In knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger.
I've got so many party members now. Look at us go. Saving throw, spell memorization, 2 hit points. Okay, his health does not go up very quickly. His spell memorization did not actually give him access to another tier.
Yes.
He seems pretty capped out.
Aye, what?
Level 7 fighter, level 6 fighter, level 7 thief, level 6 fighter, level 6 mage. All these multi-classers. I don't seem to have the ability to multi-class, do I? Level 7 mage, level 7 priest. Our first priest. That hasn't even been an option so far, has it? So 3 of us are factionless. But she's specifically the Free League, the Independents, which is also like not being in a faction. Faction. Society of Sensates. Motto. Know the universe by experiencing it fully. The senses form the path to truth, for the multiverse doesn't exist beyond what can be sensed. There's a scroll bar, but I can't, once again, I can't click this to select it, to make it stay selected, and I can't go over here to highlight this scroll bar. Like, 'cause it always goes back to this. Maybe this just doesn't scroll, because it does seem to be, it doesn't like cut off a line on either of these characters. I can't help but think that having half of this field be explaining what a faction is, like you've never heard of the word faction before, is a bit of a waste, when they could better explain the faction itself. She starts at level 7, that's good. Another fist weapon person. Biography. My past is not a long one, at least by Tanari standards. I do not know if you are familiar with the Tanari, but we are a race of the Abyss, a staggered species of planes filled with chaos and evil hearts. I am Tanari, a fiend, a succubus. I grew up upon the first plane of the Abyss. My mother was a succubus herself, as I'm sure you are aware. Succubi tempt mortals to bring their souls to the Abyss. My mother was among the finest, seducing countless mortal men to their eternal damnation. She now dwells in the Abyss, selling her children into slavery. She sold me to the Batezu, the blood enemies of the Tanari. I think she rather expected that they would kill me. Despite her knowledge of other subjects, she knows little about art culture and the delight they take in tormenting others. She knows little of their culture and the delight they take doing that. Fortunately, the Batezu are a proud species, and the thought that Tanari could best them at anything was something intolerable to them, so I challenged them to one of the proudest of the pit fiends to a contest of improvisation, and it was here the Tanari heart allowed me to win the day. The Tanari are chaotic creatures, wild and unpredictable. The Batezu are more cunning and fiends with orderly hearts. They understand the improvisation, but they are not among its best practitioners, and thus I won my freedom. That was a very long time ago. I left the lower planes for Sigil, encountered the Society of Sensation, and my experiences upon the Batezu instilled in me a desire to learn more of the multiverse. Why? I believe there's a truth to the multiverse, even if that truth is that there is no truth at all. I believe that the planes are meant to be experienced, and the more one experiences in travel, joy, and pain, and merriment and suffering, the more multiverse reveals itself to you, and the more you are revealed to yourself. Lawful neutral. Quite the jump from chaotic evil from her faction. No more talk and wander. Ignis wishes to burn. Yeah, I guess it's my bad. I guess these seem like they actually are just repeated previous conversations. I thought it was worth reading their bios, but they do seem to just recap what you already said. Not even recap, just the whole thing again. So what does she have? Fall from Grace's touch. 1 to 3 slashing. This is Grace's basic attack. It does slight slashing damage. Does she have little claws or something? It's just her hand, seemingly. I guess she is succubus. Fall from Grace's chastity bodis. Fall from Grace's bodis is made from the tanned hide of some creature. Despite its prim and proper appearance, it does little to detract from Grace's sensuality. The bodis possesses no known powers other than some minor enchantments that prevent it from becoming dirty, and repairs minor tears in the fabric. Her earrings. +1 to saving throws, 5% magic resist. These are Fall from Grace's earrings. They give her a slight amount of protection from spells and other magic. And like almost everything else, they look really good on her. There's a diary. This book looks like it was made from paper-thin silver sheets. The engraving of a woman is on the cover of the text. And there is a small lock on the side of the book. No matter how you try, the lock resists your attempts to open it. This book looks like it's made from paper. Well, I didn't want to read it anyway. Well, at least not yet. That's just there to taunt us for now, with the idea that maybe it'll come up at some point. Well, we have every party member now, except for Morte still being missing. The interface more or less makes that certain. What do I do now, though? I need to figure out who I can ask about things. Trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be? We do not. If you are not currently in the process of doing so, methodologically.
Yes.
How did you come by the name Fall from Grace? The meaning of names is a complicated subject. There is much to be said, and a great deal of that is better left unsaid. Is Fall from Grace your real name? Perhaps. She smiles slightly. Perhaps not. There are names which are given and names which are earned. Who is to say which is the real one? I think the name which is earned carries the greater weight. That may be so. Why do you think that? Because a name that is earned is not arbitrary. A name that is earned tells of what you've accomplished. Grace nods. Your point is well taken. So why are you called Fall from Grace? Would it matter? She smiles. It is an earned name. It matters to me. I would like to know how you came to be called that. I have fallen from my people. Some would say risen from my people, perhaps, but fall feels more right to me. She looks at you questioningly. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. After all, fall carries with it an underlying sense of loss. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment, then nods thoughtfully. Yes, perhaps that is why it felt as it did. I came to terms with the loss long ago, but the name has remained. Are you sure you've come to terms with it? Fall from Grace meets your gaze, and you are once again struck by the brilliant shade of blue in her eyes. It is turbulent, like the ocean before a storm. I had thought so, yet, in speaking to you, you have caused me to realize some things. She smiles. You have my thanks. Well, if you want to talk about it, let me know, all right? She nods. You are most kind. I will do so.
Yes.
Do you ever use weapons?
No, there is seldom the need, and I find that I cannot bear the torch of cold iron or even steel for long periods of time. The touch, not the torch. In any event, I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers, such as
Updated my journal.
the kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, though they rarely realize the danger until their death is almost upon them. Fall from grace sighs. I can resort to it when the need arises. I'm gonna kiss people to death. Smoochies. Combat smoochies. Why did you set up the brothel? I established the brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than simply the carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in the verbal arts with others. Why did you establish such a place? This is all from before, I'm pretty sure. Can I read your diary? No. Please. Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets.
Yes?
I wanted to talk about our companions. Who in particular did you wish to discuss? Me, actually. What did you wish to discuss? Despite the hint at it, I actually didn't regain a single memory the whole time I was here, did I? Do you have any idea who or what I might be? Grace frowns in thought. I freely admit that you are something of an enigma. She smiles. But I find such mysteries intriguing. Shall we attempt to puzzle out your situation? Yes. First, while it is possible that you are a tiefling or some rare crossbreed, my guess is that you are human, or were at one time. Your appearance is approximately a male in his early 30s. The stitching and scar tissue make an exact determination difficult. The key to your past is your memory, and it seems that certain locations, events, and people trigger something seemingly forgotten memories. It would seem to be in your best interest to visit as many locations as possible and speak to as many others as possible. In short, experience your universe as much as possible. A sensei's advice, eh? Fall from Grace gives you a bemused smile. I would not advise it if I did not practice it, and if you did not already know it to be true. There may be something else that would shed light on my situation. Do you know anything else that might prove helpful? Well, I think someone's out to murder me. So much so that I built a tomb trap to try and kill them. According to an inscription in the tomb, he's been coming after me for, well, as long as my incarnations can remember, it seems. Then, whoever the killer is, he's lived a very long time to have pursued you so long. She taps her chin for a moment. Could the killer be immortal as well? Possibly. I'd like to know any other thoughts you have in my situation. Well, shadows keep trying to kill me. I have a feeling they're following me, but I don't know why. Shadows? Fall from Grace is silent for a moment. Shadows are shades of the dead. They do not tend to hunt. They tend to lie in wait for victims. Curious.
Yes?
To be honest, I'm curious as to your feelings about me. Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets. Just like the diary. I'd like to know your thoughts on my situation, then.
Same thing again.
Yes.
You.
Me? Me? Really? She thinks about it for a moment, then nods. Very well. Is there anything you are curious about? Please ask.
Asking her about herself and asking her about me both are the same conversation options, it seems.
Anna. She is strong and capable, and she is quite passionate. I almost wish I had met her long ago and asked her to come to the brothel. Perhaps things might have been different. Grace studies you for a moment. What do you think of her?
I think she doesn't care for you very much.
I would agree. Grace smiles. But I shall not let you dodge my question so easily. What do you think of her?
I don't trust her.
Why don't you trust her?
She conveniently found me in the Alley of Lingering Sighs when I died, despite the fact that every other collector is frightened to go in there. She's Farrod's adopted daughter, and she's a hive thief with a trace of fiend blood. Need I go on?
Alright, well, the last line's just kind of mean. That's unnecessary. Very well.
It's pretty much the same conversation.
Dakon. Dakon? Grace raises an eyebrow. He's most uncommon for a Githzerai.
Really? In what way?
Well, he obeys you. That alone would mark him as a pariah among his people. His entire race were once slaves, and even the reminder of servitude to them is distasteful.
Anything else?
Dakon approaches everything in an orderly fashion. Again, most curious for a Githzerai. They tend to be unpredictable. They follow their impulses rather than plan.
So both of the lawful characters are from chaotic factions. Anything else?
He seems a most pious Githzerai and a steadfast ally.
Ignis.
You'd be wise to travel with him no longer. He is insane and is proven capable of great acts of destruction, as I understand it. As I understand it, he was transformed into a conduit of the elemental plane of fire. Such a transformation would have killed many mortals. Not only did he survive such a trial, but he thrived. He possesses tremendous power. Should he be forced into a confrontation, I would fear for the chances of anyone who stood against him. I pray it does not come to that.
If Ignis is so powerful, why doesn't he just attack everything he sees? Why does he even travel with us?
I do not know, but I do not think it is because he likes our company. In fact, I think he considers all of us irrelevant, except for you.
I think it's because I was his teacher in the past.
You were his teacher?
Yes. One of my previous incarnations taught him the art, and I don't think it was the kind lesson. I think, in some dim way, he still considers me his master.
Far from Grace nods thoughtfully. That would explain a great deal. She studies your features for a moment. Did the realization trouble you?
I feel some responsibility. I think the means by which I taught Ignis may have contributed to his madness, but I do not know for sure.
Ignis burns within, and with such fires that Baator itself would be shamed. He has become more than a sorcerer, more than a man. He has become a force. I can't help but wonder if it was part of his nature before he crossed paths with you.
And she's never met Morte yet. We're gonna have to work on that. And I've also got to work on where to actually go next.